What do you remember about the Depression? You were married, the crash was in 29, so you had been married 4 years.
Yeah.
Had you had any children by then? I guess you did. You probably had...
wait a minute, the crash came in 32.
John.
32.
29.
29.
29.
Yeah, but in 32 came what? Something big happened in 32. It happened in 19...
Was that was probably Roosevelt and the New Deal, right?
Yeah.
Coming out with the New Deal?
Wait a minute, New Deal.
When they had the 3C camps and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, you're talking about the other Roosevelt, not Teddy Roosevelt.
No, Franklin.
Franklin D. Roosevelt. Yeah, he, what did he do? The first thing is, he closed all the banks in the country.
Right. You were working
They
at
were
Morgan.
closing, and I was in the bank.
You were working at Morgan, yeah.
I was already in Morgan, see. They closed us. And across the street from us was the Equitable Life. And every so often we'd hear a crash. Committing suicide. They were jumping from the windows. And we would get to the windows and we couldn't see. The stones were so, you know,
Yeah.
we could hear the bodies. Suicide they were committing.
Now, how many kids did you have then? Just one? John, probably?
1919.
No. 1929.
Oh, 29.
You would have had John. John's the oldest, right? And then Margaret?
Don't let me fault you on that. That's paper. I got that in writing.
There you go.
Not
Yeah,
in
maybe that was it.
flesh.
All right, so we're in the Depression. You're telling us about people jumping out of windows.
Oh,
Did they lock you in the bank? Did you guys stay in the bank all night?
Oh, 4 days I didn't go home. And then they had to let us home. They said, change your underwear. Go home so you'd have to change your underwear. 4 days and 4 nighs, little or no sleep. We're sleeping a few hours over our desk like this. Geez, we all got big desks, you know. Oh, geez, huge desk.
What did your wife have to say about all that? What you do, just call her up during the day and say, I'll be home?
Wait a minute. I wasn't married then, was I?
Well, let's see, 29. No, when were you married? Yeah, you were been
Yeah,
married
20.
4 years.
Wait
Yeah,
a minute, I was married in
1925.
25.
So
yes.
you were married and you had John at home.
Oh,
And you're staying at the bank all night.
she's calling up and the wives are calling and everybody's wife is calling. And what could they do? Because they closed all the banks and gradually they were reopening them. And Morgan Bank was the first one in New York City that got permission to open. Citibank and then Chase, Morgan Bank. I mean, they had to get a permit to reopen.
Yeah.
And it took some time. I'm telling you.
What was it like when they reopened? Large crowds, people coming to get their money?
Sure. They did that to avoid the bilking of all the money, you know. Oh, when the banks opened, well, I tell you why. The banks were closed. Roosevelt did a right thing. Many of the state banks were closing. So the checks weren't becoming cleared through the clearinghouses.
Uh-huh.
So finally, what's his name, closed the New York banks. That's one of his original acts, was to close the banks and declare what they called it a national bank holiday. They called it a holiday.
Uh-huh.
And all the banks in the country were closed. So the foreign banks couldn't get with us. We couldn't get with the foreign banks. It was a mess.
Now, isn't that when something occurs, something about a bank couldn't close on Friday or something? Didn't you tell me something about that once, about banks had to stay open so long or couldn't close certain hours or something? I thought once you told me a story about that, about banking. They could only stay closed for 2 days or something like that. Isn't there a rule or something?
That I don't remember.
Maybe.
No, because all the banks, National Bank holiday, were closed.
Yeah.
I don't remember that 2-day business, but there may be something to it, but I doubt it. You can imagine the people in the bank couldn't go home for 4 days.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Geez. My, oh my. Well, anyway, we got by. We got by. Oh, geez, I remember.
How long?
I got home. It was snowing to beat the band. And I didn't go right upstairs. I went right down the cellar to put coal on the fire. You had to keep the oven going, you know, for the steam
Yeah.
heat. You know, instead of going up for he said, where the heck were you? I said, I was down there. It needed coal. And otherwise you'd have no steam heat. When I got upstairs, well, we had to go back to the bank.
So you had a job then through the whole Depression. You worked at the bank right on through.
Oh yeah. They were going to let 200 people go in our bank, and you know how they kept them? We all volunteered to give 1 week's pay or 2 days' pay a week, and that money collected kept the 200 that they were going to
Release.
Yeah. So we actually paid for their staying on,
right.
you know. But that was a good point too. Yeah. Well, geez, that was 1919, wasn't it?
No. The crash was in 29.
29. Oh yeah.
But how long did it last? How long was the economy suppressed? 4 or 5 years? Longer?
In 32, they were still not out of the mess. It was really a depression of everything by 32.
Uh-huh.
Oh